Jason Kelce, of course, with us every Thursday at this time, brought to us by his beer, Garage Beer. The garage is always open. Light beer like it used to be. Find Garage Beer at your local realtor or, of course, retailer. Or drink it, of course, at drinkgaragebeer.com. That's drinkgaragebeer.com. Official beer of the Kelce brothers.
Don't go to your local realtor for it.
No, don't do that.
I mean, they might have it too.
They may.
If they're a good realtor, they'll have it.
Damn straight.
It's the closing, or maybe the gift after.
That's right.
So, Jason, how was Thanksgiving? How are you, bud?
Doing great. Had a wonderful Thanksgiving. It's been a fun week for sure. I was down with Bill Murray playing golf with him, which is
Wow.
No big deal.
Yeah, I mean,
look at that.
Still in awe that took place. So yeah, it's been a fun week for me.
How much Caddyshack talk was there, you and Bill Murray, on a golf course?
There was a ton of Caddyshack, especially with the caddies on the. I mean, I think the caddies were. That's like the pinnacle of like their profession. So they were just. It was a blast. It was a complete blast, and he has this uncanny ability, obviously, of being off the cuff, but just like to connect with people, which was fun to witness in person.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Cool dude.
Very cool dude. Very cool dude. Very cool place. Vidalia, Georgia, a Hoopie Match Club. It was a fun experience, to say the least.
How do you keep your schedule up? I mean, it's like every day I feel like you're in a different state. How do you do it?
Well, I don't. I have somebody who handles it for me, and she does a great job, Emily. We find a way to make it work, and there's a lot of opportunities, and right now we're probably scaling back a little bit because we've been running around, but this was one that I was not going to miss for sure.
Good for you,
scaling back a little bit because you're running around. Like, is that because you are? I would imagine feeling the effects of run, or is this just someone telling you, hey, we need to pull back?
Well, I think the entire internet's telling me to pull back. But
that's great.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
Well, that too.
Yeah, I think I'm part of it's I'm probably been doing a little bit too much, but you try and take advantage of opportunities when they come. But also part of it's just holidays are coming up. We're doing this late night show later in the year with ESPN, and in order to do that well, I'm going to have to do because that's going to be live. It's going to be rehearsals and stuff like that. There'll be a band, so I think I'm trying to really make sure that that's good. So over the next month, we'll probably tone it down a bit.
Good for you. So, Jason, 3 major developments since we last talked to you 2 weeks ago.
All right.
You just touched, and by the way, Jason, of course, fielding phone calls for the next hour. You can join us, 215-592-9494. So congratulations, and this is not in any particular order other than, number one, as you just referenced, the TV show coming up on ESPN.
Yeah.
It sounds so
It's an
exciting.
incredible achievement. But let me, real quick, before we deep dive that.
Sure.
Congratulations on baby number 4 coming up.
How about it?
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank you
dude,
very much. Yeah.
That's really special, man.
I say this a lot. At what point do you stop getting congratulated and start being like, what are you doing?
Well, Jason,
right on that cusp.
Joe and I know this since we're the youngest of big families. Like, I was 6. You were 5.
I was 5th.
I was the 6th kid. So I'm thankful they continued on.
For sure.
There we go. I like to hear that.
How's Kylie doing? Is she all good?
She's great. Yeah, Kai's good. She's not at that point yet where it's like uncomfortably like pregnant, so she's doing well. Yeah,
good. All right, so let's get to the TV show, then we'll get to the team because the Eagles are the other thing. I mean, their Super Bowl talk is really real now, but let's
for sure.
TV show. So how did it come together? I mean, I think there's been a late night dearth for a while.
Yeah.
It's not like the old days where America doesn't tune into anything other than pro football these days the way they used to. Like, that's more than that. So much has gone down because you got Netflix, you got this, you got that.
There's a lot of competition.
You can just look on your phone on YouTube. I lie in the bathtub and just check out my phone for an hour. But you're going to try to break through.
That's gross.
I do. But I mean, Jason,
I can't wait to hear that you're watching this late night show in your bathtub.
While I'm naked.
Buddy.
While I'm naked. Thinking of you, Jason. A naked hammer thinking of you. All right, so Jason, while you dwell on thinking about you. So how did it come together? And tell us like your mindset.
No, we were talking to a bunch of the networks when we were thinking about, where to go and what was going to happen this year as far as a media thing. And, it became apparent there'd be opportunities to potentially try something like this. And, I've always, to me, when I think of the NFL, I think of the iconic NFL music and these highlights and, Steve Sable, John Facenda, and like these, a lot of NFL films type things. And that was a big thing for me was there's a lot of connections. NFL films started in Philadelphia. I think John Facenda was used to be like a news anchor.
He was here.
Yeah.
Until I believe the early 80s.
And, NFL Films.
Or maybe it was prior to that, but he was for a long time here. That's right.
So NFL Films is in South Jersey. And I'm like, okay, how can I get that music to be a part of whatever I'm doing? Because to me, that's when I hear like the classic battle, and I'm trying to make sure.
Well, Seltzer can play them. I mean, he's got that.
Can you? All right.
You don't think I'm already doing that?
There we go.
Just getting it ready.
Like, how can you not hear this and just get goosebumps about football, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a live band. We're gonna be playing music like this. There'll be former players and coaches talking about the game. There'll be comedy bits. But for me, I really wanted to try and incorporate. What's a template that I could do, something that celebrates the past of football, celebrates what's currently happening, because this season at least will be 5 episodes during the postseason. And then what's something that I can also celebrate the fan base as a part of.
Nice.
And obviously we wanted to do it in Philadelphia. NFL Films being close by helps that out, as well as just doing it someplace that is, one, easy to get to, but also, 2, was obviously where I played my whole career at.
Yeah.
So I think we're doing it in the most diehard football town in America. We're doing it with some really, really cool people. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be something that celebrates the game, is funny, is entertaining. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Good for you, man. So it sounds very, the way you've described it so far, football-focused and sports-focused.
For sure.
Are you going to broaden out from that and do the late night, here's an A-list celebrity, here's Tom Cruise, he's got a new movie coming out.
The monologue, how about that,
does
too?
Does that stuff play in, or is it more sports?
We're toying around with that right now. I think the monologue, we've toyed around with no monologue. I think after talking to some people, we might do like a little bit intro, but it won't be an extended monologue if we do something like that.
Yep.
I'm really trying to avoid having guests on for the sake of just like a big name who's on a promotional trip.
Well, then have Richie on. He's a small name.
Yeah, sure. What's the
John Ritchie or Taylor Swift, first guest.
I'm not turning down Taylor.
Either way.
I think I think if we can, I think it's the panel discussions that I like have experts on the panel, but then potentially have somebody up there that's just a football fan, that's like a diehard guy.
Yeah,
because I think
that is cool.
Yeah, I think that people, when you played the game, you think about the game a certain way, and you think about questions and answers that revolve around that. It's nice to have somebody on the panel sometimes that just thinks about the game from a fan's perspective, so the conversation happens in a way that the people watching really appreciate as well. So I think I'm going to try and make sure that panel is well balanced of guys that are going to be able to chop it up and have fun, and are experts in the game, but also people that are just fans of the sport and genuinely interested in learning and talking with guys that used to play, or we might get some current players because the season will be over at that point for a number of them. So we'll see.
Well,
this sounds
congrats,
so daunting. And what is the time frame that you're trying to move all of this into go time for? Like when does it feel like it's like?
Yeah, we got rehearsals this week, actually. We're already filming things for the first episode. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
And the launch date,
we're trying to figure out the
flying by the
intro.
seat of your pants. Like,
For
it
sure.
really does feel, that must feel exciting.
Is it early January it launches?
January 3rd, I think, is the first episode.
And 5 are planned as of now, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Good for you, man.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Major
awesome.
congrats.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
So let's get to
cool.
the third development, because, of course, Jason with us every Thursday, except for, last Thursday with Thanksgiving not. So the other one, Jason, in the last 2 weeks, and it's not like it wasn't sort of kicking around in portions of November.
Yeah.
But the win against Baltimore.
It's huge. Yeah.
It really, so Jason, you played in all the games until this year. I said after that game, I said Monday this week, I thought it was the third best win the organization has had this decade. And here's the way I size it up. Number one was beating San Francisco in the NFC Championship game.
So we are counting playoff games.
I am counting, yeah. And number two was beating the Chiefs on the road last year. Very similar to Baltimore, but to me, like a better team. And a team that ultimately won the Super Bowl and was defending champs. I think it was a bigger deal. And the one I was trying to weigh it between was Baltimore last week versus the Giants, who weren't very good, but it was a playoff game and an incredibly decisive playoff win you guys had in 2022. Bottom line is, I call this third best in 5 years. It just took the Eagles up multiple notches, both locally and nationally, with the belief people have in this squad.
Yeah, I don't know where it falls in the ranking. I'd have to really look at. Maybe my memory is just not good to be able to draw on the games like that. But I think it's a huge win. This is a team that in Baltimore that has been one of the best AFC teams since Lamar Jackson has been there. I mean, since John Harbaugh has been there. I mean, these guys have been towards the top for a long time.
Yep.
They're a physical, big. When I think of the NFL, and probably it's because I'm from Cleveland, I think of the AFC North and the way a lot of those teams are built. And when you can compete with those teams and really match that physicality, that is a surefire sign that you are a legitimate football team. And that's what I really appreciate about that game was when I think of bully teams, I think of the Ravens, I think of the Steelers, I think of teams that are built to control the line of scrimmage in a physical and intimidating manner. And the Eagles were not intimidated one bit. They matched and exceeded that physicality, and I thought it was an enormously impressive victory for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Jason, there was a lot made this week of the fact that all of the Eagles' offensive linemen are pullers. That we use the power scheme so much that we do pull the center, which goes back to you, which is so rare and unique, and then we all. As fans, we know that you were part of bringing our current center Cam in part because he had a skill set that was similar to yours. How much does that matter? The fact that every one of these guys, and they're gigantic, by the way.
Yeah, that's the thing
every one of them can pull.
How big they are, yeah.
That's the size just to start is crazy, but then the fact that they're all. Just dexterous enough to get out there in space and find their target. It just seems almost impossible to put a group of guys together like that.
Yeah.
How rare is it? How much does that help the run game?
Well, I guess I'll speak to the pulling first. I think a few years ago, maybe it was with Nick, we really started getting into running counter a little bit, and we started doing it with Jalen with the read counter. And then we just started hey, we kind of like counter. Let's just start running counter. Mm-hmm. And it ended up being a really good fit off of some of these zone concepts and things that we already did. With Chip Kelly, it was all zone read, and we had the one pull down and around play where we get on the edge. But, now they have a really good blend of the counter, the tackle pull, the center pull, on draws or on these, 5-man run plays. So the scheme is multiple. They have tackle traps we started doing on third downs. And I think in order to do all these things, you need an athletic offensive line.
Yeah.
Now, in order to control the line of scrimmage, you need a physical offensive line.
Sure.
So it's a hard thing to balance. And what the Eagles have, and I credit, the way they valued offensive linemen. I mean, it's not rocket science, that you get really big, fast, strong guys, and they can do all this stuff. And the plotting, power. You're just going to run one, two-back power and be like a wall. That's not enough, I don't think, in this league anymore. You need to be able to have these guys that can do multiple things. And what the Eagles have right now, I mean, Jordan Mailata. Landon might not be the best example of an athlete, but he's definitely he's an example of an incredible football player.
Yeah, he is.
And he's a sneaky athlete. Mekhi Becton is an incredible athlete. Lane Johnson is potentially the most athletic person I've seen next to Jason Peters, and then Cam Jurgens is enormously athletic. So, and I always felt, the center being athletic is really nice because there's a lot of things you can do with that position, and having a big center, I don't know that it offers that much of an advantage because the neutral zone isn't as much, so you don't get as much movement out of the position regardless. But the two big guards, when I played my best, we had two just big guys next to me that could really control the depth of the pocket and control the line of scrimmage, and I would work in unison with, and they would create such movement on these double teams or even singled up. And the fact that I think Mekhi Becton has been unbelievable this year in his growth, and I think Landon Dickerson continues to be one of the best guards in the league. And that combined with Cam being the incredible piece that he is, and then we have two of the best, if not the best tackles in the league.
Yeah, Jason with us in studio here. All right, 215-592-9494. To get some calls in, reminder, 9:30 today, Eric Dickerson on the program. So obviously Saquon is going for...
Eric Dickerson's coming on.
Dickerson. So Saquon's going for the record, Dickerson today. We'll find out. Does he want him to get it? Does he not?
I think everybody knows the answer to that. Probably.
It's no, right?
Yeah. I don't know how to say that. Maybe he will.
I wouldn't want someone to get my record. I just wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's probably like that gung-ho no on it, but I mean, obviously, I think that's something that he takes pride in.
Of course. How would you know?
I guess the big question is how hard do you go in the honesty department if you're Eric Dickerson?
Well,
here?
that'll be interesting.
I would be cautious about really letting the cat out of the bag about how I really felt, which is, oh hell no, I wouldn't want to try to sabotage your efforts to beat me because I want it to last forever. Like 2105 should stand forever. I now have I hold it against Saquon. I want him to suffer.
Well, I don't think it's hold. No, it's not that. You don't have to go that far.
Look, I know he can't say that.
I don't think he's going to be that.
He's not going to say, I want him to suffer.
He's not going to say, I'm going to sabotage.
Not only is he not going to say it, I don't think he's going to feel that. I think he's proud of his record, but I think just like most guys, I don't think he's going to be like, screw this guy at all.
Right.
But I think, if I'm him, I'm a little bit, I don't know, he won't bring it up, so I'll bring it up probably. 17 games now.
Yeah. He doesn't no, Jason, he can't because he broke OJ, who was in 14 games.
Yeah, but Jim Brown was 14 games.
Yeah, like Dickerson, we'll talk to him about that topic also, but he can't really say, if he goes hard to the wall on that, then people are going to be like, well, wait a minute. Then OJ got completely screwed at 14 games.
Yeah, or he could just go back to hey, man, listen, OJ's the one. If I was him, I would go, I think, OJ's the rushing record guy because he had a better yards per game of 14
he certainly did.
Yeah.
By the way, Eagles, Carolina,
I don't know that we should be propping up OJ.
That's what I was thinking.
The juice is going to come back from the dead for a couple extra yards.